Not a problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now are going to be looking at a new screening solution. I hope I have everything correct here. Ross Fitzcharles is going to be now taking over from me, and Ross is the CEO of Preferental. Sorry, I was reading my own title there. The CEO of Preferental. Ross, good morning. I believe, have we given you sharing, have we given Ross share, co-host responsibilities? Can you try and share quickly, Ross?
It's not active yet.
It's not active yet. Oh, my
Sean, I
assistant.
cannot make him a co-host, but you can make him a co-host.
Oh, you can't make him a co-host. Okay, well, ladies and
No.
gentlemen, if you just give us a
A co-host is
moment.
not as cool as a host as yet.
Oh, a co-host, not as cool as a host. Oh, so I'm like the cool one here. Okay,
Okay, there we go.
Ross, welcome and thank you for agreeing to join us this morning. I think there's a lot of people that are eager. Yep, it's all working. Eager to hear about your new solution. So you can just take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I think this whole discussion this morning was very interesting, just around the time and the era that we're living in. So before I jump in, I just want to give a quick overview. So for the guys that don't know Preferental, we've been in the market since 2017. We've raised funding through Capitec and Property 24. And we've also, today I'll be showing you the tenant vetting process or system that we've built. And we've also built a white label solution for Property 24 that they are currently actively using on their platform for their clients as well. So yeah, I think in most of the conversations this morning, we've all been sort of made aware in terms of like what is the time that we're living in and how easy tenants can tamper with documents and sort of what risk that place us as agents as. So from a tenant vetting perspective, we carry the brunt when it comes to tenants defaulting. We play the safeguards for landlords from a financial and property risk perspective. And then when we built the system, we looked at traditional methods. So how long does it actually take to do a tenant vetting? What is that entire process from sending an application form to the tenant completing that manually, emailing that back with the supporting documents, and then just the back and forth in terms of getting those documents. And then once you've got everything, you run onto, everybody uses TPN, same with even with our system, we've integrated with TPN. So you run the credit report on the tenant, and now you've got the risk report, you've got the supporting documents, and then literally you start with your entire process. And then comes the investigation. So we all have that Pink Panther in our offices that goes through the bank statements, checks for the logos that's moving around. I mean, just the examples this morning has been amazing insights in terms of what we need to look out for. But if you look at growing or scaling your business, how do you go about doubling your tenant inquiries without like exorbiting your cost in the business if you have to do all of those checks? So I'll deep dive into that. And a big thing that we've seen over the last couple of years is AI. So ChatGPT, Gemini, these platforms has basically made it easy for tenants to fake employment letters, provide fraudulent documentation from a bank statement perspective. They can fake their IDs, and all of this happens in minutes and not hours. So back in the day, if someone took long to provide a basic document, then we could have questioned sort of why is it taking this person like 2 days or 3 days. But now within minutes, you can have a fake bank statement submitted through to you. And this is a test example that I just want to run through. This is we obviously changed some of the detail, put a white block here so it's not possible to scan. But this is a person that gave us a bank statement. Now, everything made sense. We looked at their pay slip. We looked at their, let me just pause it here. We looked at their pay slip. They were giving us, highlighting some of the areas where we could basically go and see this is our income. And then our system ran through this and we picked up what tool this guy used to actually edit the document. And just to show you how easy it is, you can literally go in and change your salary. You can do this on your bank statement, on your pay slip as well. And you can adjust the totals. You can move around to align the with the numbers. And this is what we as estate agents, and specifically in this industry, struggle with, is we get a document that tenants can quickly upload, and they can basically edit and modify anything and then send that through. So from a risk perspective, we need to understand, like, what is this problem for agents and then also for our clients? So it's a reputational risk. We as agents run this risk of, sorry, let me just put my computer off. Yeah, we run this risk of exposing our brand to a company that actually allows fraudulent tenants to come through, which effectively rolls over to unpaid rent. Got an upset customer, they lose trust and faith in your business, and eventually leaves your company. It also goes into legal complications. We know evictions takes very long, and then it could take up to 6 to 12 months, even longer, and the bills just adds up. So agents face pressure to move quickly. Fraudsters exploit the rush. We've all seen that, last minute applications coming through. Everything sort of makes sense, but there's just that one thing that doesn't feel right. But you know the first is tomorrow, and you need to get this done and get the client to pay the deposit and first month rental so they can move in. And effectively, our clients are exposed financially. Data is showing us that 40% of all applications are fraudulent. So how do we protect our clients? And then lastly, from an AI tool perspective, is AI has been great in terms of allowing us to sort of move faster and create greater output. It also allows us to detect document manipulation. We've seen with ChatGPT in the universities where AI is being used to identify whether students are using AI in their assignments. But then from a creation perspective, all the beautiful benefits we get from AI allows tenants to also create fraudulent documentation at a fraction of the time. So it's an arms race between how do we actually adopt the technology to stay ahead, and how do we integrate our existing businesses into tools that can help us identify. And I mean, with 40% of all applications being considered fraudulent, that's time consuming, having to put team members on a process just to check the documents and make sure that everything is, that we are actually working with the proper personnel. So at Preferental, what we've done is we've taken all of the learnings over the last 9 years, and we said, how do we build a AI tool that can fast track the tenant vetting on our site? And I want to take you through. Okay, before I get the video, these are the integration partners. So we work with TPN, Experian, SARS, and Home Affairs. So the nice thing is we check employment in real time. We get the credit overview of the tenant, looking at the willingness and ability. We do the Home Affairs check on their IDs. And I'll show you the dashboard now. It's really a powerful system. This video that I'm showing you now is basically, and I'm going to skip some of it, it's just a process of how the system currently works. All of this is dummy data. So an application link will be sent through to the tenant. The tenant will receive a notification via SMS and email. On this step, you can choose whether the tenant is paying, or even some clients prefer that they actually pay for the application because they embed that through their application fee. The tenant will then create a profile, get to their dashboard, and they'll see there's a pending request for them. We do a pre-affordability check. This doesn't stop them to continue, but it just highlights if there's potential affordability issues. Tenant will make the payment on the system. Once the payment goes through, this is just test data, we'll basically start with the application. So getting all the required consent, we show them the property that they're applying for. And then next up is the application type, South African or foreigner, pensioner, self-employed or full-time. And then we run them through a process of uploading your documents. So our AI basically extracts the information, so we know we're pulling the right information when we're confirming the details with Home Affairs. We ask for the employment details and also the HR details that's saved on the system. So should SARS not be able to confirm that, we've got the information there. They upload bank statements, pay slips, and then we do ask them for employment letter, which is optional, but we find that 70% of tenants actually do provide an employment contract. And then how did they rent? they're tenant, homeowner, or living with their parents. Based on that, we ask them for previous landlord references that we store on the system. And lastly is just, are there any additional occupants in this property, and are there pets that we need to be aware of? And once they click submit, we take them immediately through to the assessment report. And at this time, all of this happens in real time. So at this time, we've got, and I just want to pause there. At this time, we basically have already done the RIC check with Home Affairs. We've confirmed with SARS whether the person is employed. We validated that the bank statements hasn't been tampered with. So what we do is we take that PDF through, we see what was that journey on the back end of the PDF. And if it's a bank statement directly downloaded from the bank, or that the bank emailed through to you and you upload that, we can verify that through the system. We then utilize the document, the employment, and verify their salary against what they provided. And then we've got an affordability overview. I'll show you that now. So we assist with the affordability calculation. We've got the supporting documents. We show you legal matters, financial accounts, credit accounts. These are all highlights of the risk report. And then before I jump into the next, let me just continue because I'll get back to an example. Okay, this is a real-time example of a tenant that provided the documentation. And remember, when they click submit on the application form, all of this happens in the back end, and we immediately validate the information for this tenant. So we give our AI basically provides an overview of the risk. We show you whether the bank statements have been verified, are there any judgments, debt review, or any negative information. And then we've got the affordability overview on this side, showing the disposable income and the rental amount. On the bank statement itself, this specific tenant used a tool called Seja, which is a free online editing tool, which our system then flags for you. You can see previous rental history, additional occupants, pet information. And then this is a section that talks about the credit accounts, the financial status, credit activity, and the legal matters for the specific tenant. And then, okay, so, and then what we've done on the system as well, we've built a Deposit Plus product. So Preferental, when we started the business, we built a rental insurance product called Preferental Promise. So it's a guaranteed rental basically. And based on our screenings that we displayed to the insurer, we got signed off that if a tenant passes our insurance, we can guarantee clients for up to 4 months of rental defaults, guarantee the rental payments to them on the first, protect them against property damage, and pay for and deal with the eviction process, which Expello is our partner to. And recently we launched this Deposit Plus product. So what this means is we actually get the tenant to pay the deposit off over up to 10 months, while agents can ask a higher deposit and have the full certainty of that deposit from day one if the tenant activates the Deposit Plus. So even if the tenant defaults in the second month or the first month of paying their deposit off, the insurer still covers that full deposit value that the agent has requested from the tenant from day one. And then over the last couple of years, we've also seen with the economy, tenants passing away in the property, some with disability, and then retrenchment. And we also cover the balance of the lease agreement against death, disability, and then involuntary retrenchment, with the caveat of retrenchment cover is up to 4 months, just to give that tenant time to find an alternative employment. And just lastly, the Deposit Plus. So just to take you sort of through the journey, once a tenant has submitted in real time the application, while you're viewing the application, they can actually send a request for the Deposit Plus from their side. At this point, we don't show them what's the deposit because you might need additional key or utility deposits for this specific property. Our clients get notified that there's a Deposit Plus pending, so they can view the Deposit Plus pending, add additional deposits on top of that, maybe utilities or additional deposits. And the total deposit sort of adds up as you add on to that, and then you can save that and you can approve the request. The tenant then is notified and they can start the journey of activating that. And then they basically run through a process where they can view the breakdown. They can then proceed to activate the deposit plus. So at this point, it's just an option for them. Do they want to pay the full deposit? Let's say you typically ask 1 month deposit because it's difficult to place tenants. At this point, you can double that deposit and they get the benefit of paying that off over up to 10 months. They go through the process of doing the initial activation fee, where all of that cover is basically the cost for this product is captured. We then get the debit check details. This just gives us the permission to run debit checks on their profiles on a monthly basis. And once the debit check is complete, let the video just run through this. So we capture, well, obviously we need the information to ensure that from a debit check perspective, we are legally compliant to run these debit orders on the account. And then lastly is they will basically activate the terms and conditions. And once they're done with that, they'll activate the product. And on that activation, we basically provide them with a full breakdown of what their payment schedule is. Our clients also have access to this to see, have they made their payments like they should have. And yeah, on your side, on the client side, they can also see that it's been activated and they can download the certificate on their side. So yeah, I think that's sort of just a quick overview of the system and the benefits that we've built in. And I think, Sean, let me just stop sharing here. The benefit that I wanted to show today is everything that was mentioned around time. I mean, if you want to grow your portfolio, and with sort of the effort we're putting into screening these documents and making sure that tenants are providing the right bank statements and that it's been validated, is how do we grow our businesses if suddenly we're placed in a position where you have to do all of these manual legwork in terms of checking the documents. So yeah, that's a quick overview from our side, but
I'm going to have to ask you the obvious question, which nobody surprisingly has asked yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say I'm Rental Sphere and I have a rental agency. Are you not my competition?
No. The
So
system.
in other words, why did I invite you today to share the screening app with people?
Yeah, look, I think as Preferental, we're also a digital agency. We've been that for 9 years, but we've always had this dream of building our tools and solutions for the industry. And this, with Property 24's backing and Capitec, we're actually in a position where Preferental technologies can actually start building out solutions that support the industry.
So is this solution available to other agencies to utilize? I think that's the question sorry, I didn't prep you for this. I thought people were going to ask, is it available for other agencies to use for vetting their tenants? I think that's the question I'm asking.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's a standalone system. It's not something that clients have access to. I'm talking about landlords. This is a tool that agencies can log on. It's a free tool. There's no cost to actually use the system. You can add team members onto this and then start sending out application links to your tenants. And it's definitely a tool that industry can use. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to clarify that because people might be thinking, but why? Ross is talking about all these things. What I'll also do, Ross, I will coordinate with you after this, or maybe you can just WhatsApp me. I don't want to, if anybody wants to find out more about your tool or about the screening tool and find out more, ask questions, I don't know if you're the person for them to contact or if there's a different contact person. Can you just let me know which the best email address is for somebody to contact, and then I will share that in my post workshop email.
I'll definitely do that. Yeah, I'll share the contact details with you, and then all interested parties can reach out via that email address.
Okay, and then Rufaro has asked, do you wait for the tenant to be approved before sending the deposit plus?
So the tenant will run through that application process, and when they click submit, at that point they've got an option to request the deposit plus. And then it's basically depending on you to approve, because you might have 5 tenants that you send the application link to, and 3 of those actually completed, and all 3 request the deposit plus. And then it's your right to then choose which tenant you want to move forward with and approve the deposit plus for.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions at this point for Ross? Okay. What we'll do is, Ross, I will send out, people are probably processing everything at the moment. We're sharing lots of information today, so there's a lot of processing. Just so everybody knows, the recording will be available in the next day or 2. So if there is something you've looked at and you thought, well, I can't fathom this, I couldn't make notes, etc., don't worry about that. We will sort that all out. And when I load the recording up, or when my lady loads the recording up, we will also put the contact details in there and how to contact the different service providers. Ross, thank you very much for joining us. Ross and his team are also in our inner circle. I don't know, we seem to keep everything in the inner circle, but the inner circle is a special space. So we like to share tools that work for people. So if you're not in the inner circle, I'll tell you in the end how to join that as well. Ross, thank you. Is there anything you wanted to add in closing?
No, I think if anyone's interested, please reach out. We're more than happy to do demos. We've done it for a few large state agencies at the franchise level, and happy to do demos and just show the team around, even if it's an initial demo to the CEO and then maybe down to the rest of the franchises. But yeah, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it. And this has been an insightful morning.
Thank you very much. As I said to you yesterday, that we are looking at some examples. So you probably noticed that, yes, we were looking at some examples, because I think it's, we don't all get the exposure to what is actually going on out there. So thank you very much for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean.